for boring. Where you can feast with the nectar of the gods. You'll always have a seat at Norse Hall.
Welcome everybody to Top Dog Coverage, where you can find some of the greatest football analyzations. Went over that last time. Messed up the word, but we're okay with that because this is where you're going to get some of the news, the games, the predictions, all of the spicy goodness that we can talk about, the news coverage, and everything we possibly can. Follow us on TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Am I missing one?
Threads.
YouTube.
Threads.
Yep. So make sure you want to follow us on YouTube. And today we are going to be going over one NFC team, one AFC team. Just noticed I got some dirt from the dog. That happens. But we are going to let the Wheel of Destiny decide our path today.
Continuing on with our series here, covering all 32 teams. So,
yeah, the Wheel of Destiny is no shame. No shame whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I didn't really know what to expect. I mean, it's been random teams each time. It hasn't really followed too much of a pattern, I guess.
No, I mean, it started to kind of follow like one from each division, and then as soon as we said it, we're like, whoa, it caught on to what we were doing, and then it like completely threw itself, and I was like, okay, all right. But,
so I can't assume.
Can't assume. Makes a big donkey out of you and me. Shout outs to our sponsor, norse-hall.com. If you want some hot sauce, some mead, if you will. Maybe you need the mead, possibly. And shout outs to FGM Label for a banger. Always giving us the music that we need for the shows that we're doing. So go to FGM Label at Instagram. And with that being said, future sponsor. Went back to the retro, baby. Celsius.
Shout out Celsius.
Refreshing. Very refreshing, I would say. So, but C-Dub, how you doing, baby?
Good. It's another day. Another day to talk ball. Get ready. We got more preseason games starting tomorrow. So, be a fun time.
Who's on tomorrow?
A lot of teams. It's Colts and somebody. Obviously. Let's see. Give me 2 seconds. I can tell you.
No, you're good. But while you're looking that up, we managed to piss off some more NFL fan bases. So, Chargers fans, you're welcome. Seahawks fans, they're still coming at us. Atlanta fans are a little bit more, accepting.
Yeah. I think they thought we gave them too much credit.
I guess, yeah, which is the wildest thing. But yeah, Jaguars fans, and we found one Colts fan and one Raiders fan that was okay with it.
So it's funny we bring up all those teams because some of those actually play tomorrow. So you have the Colts playing the Ravens.
Okay.
Bengals playing Philly. And then you have the Raiders playing Seattle.
Okay.
So I got 3 games tomorrow.
All right, so look, in desperation, if you have to mention how many times a team has beaten another team in the preseason, that's the end of the discussion right there, okay?
Yeah, for the games that don't count. They don't matter.
Yeah, if you're reeling in those wins, let's just stop the argument there or the debate right there, okay? But I will bring this up. I will bring this up because I think it needs to be said. Using the phrase a trash player, okay? So and so is trash. I believe is thrown around way too often. I mean, extremely way too often.
It's up there with generational player.
Actually, yeah, that's a good one. I haven't
So, yeah,
generational.
from
Yeah,
both ends of the spectrum there.
yeah.
You used way too much.
So I'll give you an example. There was a gentleman that had said to us that Geno Smith is trash. Now I wouldn't go ahead and say he's trash. I would say that on the Jets he was trash. He wasn't fully developed. The Jets probably did not help the fact to help him go farther in his career. Neither did they
Common
do that
theme
with
of the
Sam.
Jets.
Yeah,
Yes,
it
common
kind of
theme.
yeah, hand in
Yeah.
hand,
No offense,
But
Jets.
but but this person went on to say that he's trash, and I said, he's had over 500 each year, like each year he's played. You know what I mean? Like I'm not saying that's phenomenal, but I mean that you have more loss. He went 28 and 24 since becoming the actual starter for the Seattle Seahawks, which is more than decent, right?
Here, I'll end the argument right here. Would you rather have when he was playing Derek Carr or Geno Smith?
Jeez. Derek Carr, where though? And
Just
would
in general.
Derek Derek Carr with John Gruden? Yes. Derek Carr without
No,
John
no, no,
Gruden?
no, no. We're not talking
No.
about any coach or anything. Which look at the body of work. Would you want Derek Carr or would you want Geno Smith as your quarterback?
I'll take Geno. I'll take
There you
Geno.
go. End the
Yeah.
debate. He's not trash then.
What I didn't like was the fact that this person tried to enter go a little bit deeper with this and say, has he won any MVPs and has he won a Super Bowl? Now, when you go this direction, you got to be able to back it up. Because with that fact, you're telling me that Jalen Hurts was trash before last year. You're telling me that Josh Allen was trash before last year. You're telling me that Drew Brees was trash before 2009. That's I think it's just thrown around way too simple and way too easy just to make people sound like they know what they're talking about. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
There's
I
some
guess.
really, really good quarterbacks out there that just, don't win
Yeah.
MVPs.
Did Dan Marino ever? I know he never won a Super Bowl. Did he ever win an MVP?
I believe he had one MVP.
Okay. So
And I think
I
that was 84.
yeah,
I think.
I don't think that's the end all be all in terms of is a player good or not, right?
Yeah.
Because you can have a ton of serviceable players. Is it somebody that you can win with, right?
Yeah.
You might not like the person on your team. You might not. There might not be a huge ceiling, or they can't get you too far. But
Mm-hmm.
can you win with them? Yes or no, right?
Right.
And I think Geno's one that definitely he raises your lid and can improve your chances of winning there. I don't care if he hasn't won an MVP or Super Bowl. I mean, most of the stuff it's really hard to predict because there's been plenty of times where a player's had a phenomenal season and got snubbed for an MVP or some fluke things happen in the playoffs and boom, now you're out. So
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. I just think if you're going to say some statements like that, you better have some stats ready to go. You better have your homework. You better be studying, That's all. But you know what I'm ready for?
some news.
Time for the news, baby. All right. Well, C-Dub, not sure if you knew this or not, but ESPN and the National Football League announced a non-binding agreement under which ESPN will acquire NFL Network and certain other media assets owned and controlled by the NFL. including the NFL's linear Red Zone channel. That we all watch Red Zone, right? And NFL Fantasy in exchange for a 10% equity stake in ESPN. ESPN is pretty big.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be worth, what, trillions here a little bit, I guess?
Yeah, pretty
I
much.
mean,
in addition to the State of the NFL Network, the NFL and ESPN are also entering into a second non-binding agreement under which the NFL will license to ESPN certain NFL content and other intellectual property to be used by the NFL Network and other assets. By the way, I'm also hearing that Disney, we already knew that Disney was kind of woven in some way, somehow, right? I'm not sure if this is fully in there, but I heard last year that contracts might start. Now, I could be wrong, with creating Disney football games in Disney. Now, this is a rumor, okay? This is a rumor. I heard that Disney football games were going to become a thing in the future. That
I don't even know
possibly,
what that means.
yeah, so they're going to have Disney as the home team, or they're going to have a Disney field, and it's going to be a neutral playing field, kind of like Army and Navy.
Like what they did last year with the Simpsons on that Monday night game against the Cowboys and the Bengals.
Where do they play?
I mean, the game was in Dallas. The Bengals were visiting Dallas, but they had a different simulcast that was like a Simpsons cast, and they put Simpsons characters into the game.
I do remember that. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, so is that something? Is that what you're talking about? Something similar?
No,
to
this is they're actually going to be playing at Disneyland or Disney World. So that's going to be the neutral ground where they're both going to play.
Oh, kind of like the overseas games, the international games.
Yep.
Interesting.
So I heard that last year that they were going to start working on that, and I don't know how far that's gotten or what have you, but I read an article about it last year.
Doesn't Disney own like ESPN and Hulu and all that?
I think it's right when they started to get into that, all those contracts and stuff. That's when they, I mean, hey, look, they want a piece of the pie too, right?
Yeah, I mean, I just think that also help probably the cap continue to dominate, increase each year.
Oh,
so you'll see these contracts continue to blow up and whatnot. But I don't know. I don't know if it's a good move or not. I'm sure it will be, but probably the red zone as we know it, will probably kind of cease to exist. There probably won't be 7 hours of a commercial-free football anymore. They're gonna have to put in their commercials. They're gonna have to get their sponsors.
Yeah.
Get them. So that's the only downfall with a deal this big.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe it'll be wrong, but based on what's come out, I don't know. Because I think ESPN's also making their own all-inclusive app as well.
Yeah, they are.
So, oh, it's gonna look pretty different, right? Because I mean, I think you have to have 6 or 7 different streaming services just to watch all the NFL games during a season. Costs like $1,200 to $1,500 or something if you want to watch every single game. So,
word, you got to be a millionaire just to like football.
Yeah, you got to get a whole second side hustle just to be able to watch ball.
You're gonna be cutting grass. You're gonna be cutting grass when those games are going because you want to try to afford the money in that game.
That's wild. That's wild. But do you have anything else on the ESPN deal?
No, that was about it.
Sweet. All right. Well, in my neck of the woods, I think I may have spoken into existence on the last show, but the Chargers have agreed to bring back receiver Keenan Allen on a 1-year, $8.52 million deal. So basically, he was released by the Chargers, signed a 1-year deal with Chicago, ended up with 70 receptions, 744 yards, and 7 touchdowns last year. Lucky number 7s. And then he's been a free agent for a while, decided to come back to LA, back to the Chargers, where he spent every other year of his career there. So he kind of enters a kind of a crowded receiver room like we talked about on our last show. So I don't know where he quite fits in, especially at his age. I believe he's 34. So naturally, you kind of see him more in that slot role, but that's where Ladd McConkey kind of does his best work and played mostly last year. So maybe he's just going to be incorporated on specific situations. Maybe they're just bringing him into his leadership so he can help train and coach up these younger receivers. But I don't know. But 13 is back in LA. So welcome back, Keenan Allen, to the Chargers.
Now, I would say this. I put out my Los Angeles Chargers predictions, the schedule before that happened. That might actually change a few
You
wins and
think?
losses. Yeah, I really do. That connection with Herbert and Allen is something pretty special. You know, Herbert came in and that was his main go-to guy. That was his guy, you know, and he left and he came back, and I think he wants to retire here. I think he's going to try to go out with a boom, you know, but and I don't know exactly what I would look at to say what would change, but I have a feeling something would change with those predictions a little bit.
Yeah, maybe. It's interesting. But yeah, that's it on
All
the
right.
Keenan Allen front, my friend.
Alrighty. So Ian Rappaport says that the Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford is dealing with an aggravated disc. We've all seen that he's having a back injury. And look, he's getting older. That back injury has been there for a while. But now the aggravated disc is back, and he has received an epidural to help him deal with the pain. So Los Angeles has called him week to week, being cautious, but with the plans for him to be ready for week 1. So if you are a Matthew Stafford fantasy football owner, go grab Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, I noticed you picked him up in our Dynasty League
Oh yeah, I'm not
yesterday.
messing around. I thought
So,
he's
so
got.
you think this back injury is pretty serious and is going to hold him out?
Dude, you need an epidural? Yeah, that's what women take when they're pregnant, when they're pushing out another human life. I
So
think it's pretty serious.
yeah, so I mean, what does that do in terms of the fantasy value for the rest of the running backs, or excuse me, the rest of the receivers, like your Devontae Adams, your Puka Nakua?
I mean, it depends on what McVay can do over there with him, right?
Well, do you trust Jimmy G to be able to support them? I mean, I think that brings Kyron Williams' fantasy value up even more.
I would say so. I would say that Devonte Adams, where do they have him located in the slot?
I'm not sure, but what
Uh,
happened last time when he was in Las Vegas, then when they were together, and they showed on the receiver documentary how Devontae Adams was upset, and he's like, "I want out. Garoppolo's still quarterback. I'm out. I'm done with this." So I don't know, man. That'd be interesting to see if
Depends
hopefully
on who
Stafford
they.
doesn't miss any time,
Yeah, yeah,
but that's tough.
it is. I do think that it goes down a bit. It'll be interesting, but I mean, when you need an epidural to deal with some pain, dude,
Yeah, I would say
that ain't.
if you have later drafts, like if you're drafting at the end of this month or beginning of September, like keep an eye on this Ram situation because it's going to scare a lot of people. So some of these Rams receivers might get pushed down a little bit. So
Yeah,
you might get some great value there, and just hope and pray that Stafford stays healthy.
yeah, and not for nothing, sneaky moves too here. Okay, very sneaky moves. If Stafford so happens to go out and somebody wants to trade for Nakua, Devontae Adams, they want to trade for these guys, and we know Jimmy G, yo, strike a deal, get a player that's gonna that you're not second guessing about. You know what I mean? Go get some players that you know are gonna be in. They don't have to be superstars. Maybe you can get 2 easy guys for Puka Nakua or something like that. Or look, some people hang on the name brand of Devontae Adams. Okay, you know, like you can make
He
these
was
deals.
he was still pretty good last year, wasn't
Yeah, absolutely.
he? Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty much it for the news, right? I don't think there's
Yeah,
too
I
much
mean,
happening today.
you know it's gonna happen, right? As soon as we're done with the show, something's gonna pop up. That's just the way.
Hey, that's okay. That's
Yeah,
okay. NFL never stops. It's 24/7, 365.
yeah, baby. All right. Well, let's head over to the Wheel of Destiny, baby.
Get the
All
thing
right.
spinning.
See where we got the Wheel of Destiny. There it is. We started with AFC last night, so we're gonna go NFC tonight.
Any guesses on where to land?
You know what? Who did we mention today already? Washington and LA. I'm gonna say it's either Washington or LA. I'm gonna go LA. I'm stuck
I
on.
don't think we mentioned Washington, did we?
I think
that was before the show. That's before the show.
before the show. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm thinking. I'm going to throw it out there. I think Chicago.
Chicago. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Any honorable mentions?
Nah, man. I'm sticking one shot.
Okay. All right. Let's spin it, baby. Close enough.
Ooh.
Panthers, baby.
Carolina.
Carolina. All
I think
right.
I actually would talk to a Panthers fan earlier. That was upset with one of our projections, one of our schedule predictions. So that's fine.
Trust me, a lot of people are upset with our predictions.
Yeah, I think it was one of the ones. I think Panthers over somebody. I think it was Panthers over Cardinals or something, and they weren't too happy about that.
Nope.
Like,
Let me tell you,
trash.
nobody tells us that. I think there's like maybe a handful of people that are just be like, looks good. You know what I mean?
They were all Atlanta fans. Funny enough.
Oh, dude, wild, just wild. All right.
All right, who's your pick for AFC?
For some reason, I think we're going to be doing a shout out to Luis. I think the Texans.
You think Texans?
Yeah.
I think the Bills.
Bills. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do it. Ooh.
I got super close back to back, huh?
Yeah.
Bengals.
Crazy. Yeah, you're on it, baby.
Wow, look at that. Bengals and Panthers, two ends of the spectrum.
Two cats.
Yeah. Wow.
Two cats coming at it. I like it.
Wow. It keeps our Jets Saints streak alive.
It does. It does indeed. That is I wasn't gonna say anything, but yeah, it does.
I'll throw it out there. That's all right.
How far do you think that
I'm not scared of fate.
I'm not. How far do you think that we can go?
Shoot. I mean, I don't know. Our odds aren't that great, I guess.
I mean, they keep
I'm going to guess
diminishing.
maybe another 3 shows. I think another 3.
Dude, you know what? We're going to the end, baby. I'm going to call it.
Okay.
I'm that faith guy, okay?
All right.
I'm that faith guy because we got little baby Jesus here, just chilling.
There we go.
Little baby Jesus. All right, let's bring up some.
You want to get started in the AFC? You want to get started in the NFC?
Let's do NFC.
All right. So, I mean, first and foremost, Carolina. You want to run through their draft real quick? You want to tell us who they brought in?
Yeah, we can do that. So right off the bat, obviously T-Mac, McMillan, Tatora. I can never say his name. T-Mac, yeah. Which he hates, I heard, by the way. In the first round. And in the second round, Nick Scorton, the outside linebacker, right outside linebacker. Princely Umanmilan, who was the left outside linebacker. Then Lathan Ransom, who was a strong safety. Cam Jackson in the 5th round, who was a nose tackle. Also in the 4th round. Trevor Etienne, who was a running back. And then Mitchell Evans in the 5th round. And Jimmy Horton Jr. in the 6th round. Okay, so they do have they kind of spread it out a little bit. You know what I mean? A little bit on the offense, a little bit on defense. Running back, tight end, wide receiver, and they went nose tackle, left and right side linebackers, and a strong safety. So they kind of spread it around, and I thought they did a pretty good job making sure that certain holes were filled just by looking at it from the beginning.
Yeah, and I think the emphasis needed to be on the defense because last
Mhm.
year I believe they have a historically bad defense. I
Yeah.
mean, teams were scoring left and right. I mean, you had the Saints put 48 points on them on week 1 in the dome,
Yeah.
which from that after week 2 it just all went downhill for the Saints. So that defense needed a lot of help, and this was after they shipped out Brian Burns, traded him to New York. So I think a lot of these kind of training camp battles are going to fall on the defensive side. But before we dive too deep into the defense, one kind of battle that really intrigues me is the tight end competition
Yeah, I
in
do like
Carolina.
this. I like where you're going with this.
So you have Tommy Trimble, who's currently injured, the 3rd round pick in 2021. He's a projected starter. You have Jatavion Sanders, the tight end out of Texas, who they took in the 4th round in last year's draft. Mitchell Evans, the 5th rounder from this draft, I believe the Notre Dame tight end.
Hmm.
And then you got a couple street free agents there. So it'll be really interesting to see who shakes out to be that starter. Uh, Jatavion Sanders is a really kind of athletic freak, kind of like
Yeah.
more of a receiving threat. But Mitchell Evans is kind of more of that all around tight end. And Tommy Trimble, I mean, he's been there. He's the veteran there. So it's really kind of hard to see how this is going to shake out. I guess it depends on Trimble's health. But I think whoever does become the starter could be that extra security blanket for Bryce Young to
Yeah.
match all these
I
receivers.
I'm the size of this kid, Evan Mitchell, 6'5", damn near 260, right? That's a big
Mhm.
dude. That's almost Gronk size minus 2 inches. That's a big boy coming at you. His blocking it's not phenomenal, but it's a lot better than some of these people coming in on top of what was he, a 6th round pick? 4th round pick.
Mitchell?
5th round pick, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fifth.
So I do believe that it would in my it would be Jatavion Sanders. I do think that they're going to go that direction. I mean, he's still 6'4", 252, right? Still in that big guy area, right? But I think because he's been there, I think they might just go with the veteran. But I would not sleep on Evan Mitchell's or Mitchell Evans. I wouldn't sleep on him getting some really good reps. And I mean, Tommy Tremble is hurt right now, right? I forget what happened to him. What happened to him? Do you remember? Or not really.
I'm not sure, but I know he's on the PUP list currently. So
Yeah. So, but other than that, I do agree with you with this tight end room. It does look very I don't know. It looks competitive with these two guys because it might bring more competition to the field, knowing that the backup is here. This new kid is right behind you. You got some camp bodies, whatever. Interesting to see how this kid, this 5th rounder, 4th rounder, comes in and puts pressure on the second string.
yeah, and I think however the situation plays out, I think this could definitely be an option later on if you want to do the tight end roulette later on in the draft. It could be a serviceable option, whoever ends up taking that starter job later in the season.
Mm-hmm.
So
Absolutely.
this might be one to keep an eye on. But outside of that, I mean, do you see any other offensive training camp battles
I
that really
do
stick out to you?
actually. We saw this happen last year. Um, Look, I don't want to knock Adam Thielen, right? But because Adam Thielen has been pretty good when he was over in Minnesota, he's 34 now. That's a pretty old receiver in the NFL. But they did sign Hunter Renfrow. Okay, now even though Hunter Renfrow has been sidelined a little bit right now, he is right behind Thielen in that slot position, and they have been saying that even the head coach Dave Canales has been saying that it's the old Hunter Renfrow. He's back.
Yeah, he dealt
So
with a pretty serious
he did.
injury.
He did. And for somebody to say that, that's interesting because then you got Jimmy Horn Jr. In the depth in that spot, right? So if you think about this, Adam Thielen started to. I think we're starting to see that he's dimming down as the season goes on. Okay, he's I don't want to say he's losing that fire, but he can't really last an entire season. It's hard. It's very it's very tough on your body, especially at 34 years old, trying to keep up, right, with people that are 10 years younger than you. Okay, having this kid, having Hunter Renfro right behind him, ready to go, I think this could be a really, really good, like just fast, quick. He's 5 years younger than him. He's 29 years old. I
Yeah.
wouldn't be surprised that halfway through the season, or maybe even sooner than that, Adam Thielen kind of like, hey, this isn't working out, or they put him in packages like you were saying before. Maybe just put him in certain packages or what have you, and then you have Hunter Renfro come in almost as that solidified kind of slot guy.
Yeah, I mean, I think the receiving core is kind of a little underrated if you really look at it. I mean,
I
you'd
think so
like
too.
T Mac as the number one option. You took Xavier Leggett in the first round in last year's draft, and Adam Thielen. That's a pretty solid 1, 2, 3. But then backing them up, you have David Moore, who came over from Tampa Bay, Jalen
Mm-hmm.
Coker, who's undrafted free agent last year, Hunter Renfro, who you just talked about, and then their 6th round pick, Jimmy Horn Jr. That's the speedster out of Colorado.
Yeah.
So you got definitely some deep talent in this receiving room. So it'll be interesting to see how it all shakes out in terms of their snap percentages and who plays where.
I don't think people are giving, like you said, I don't think people are giving them enough credit on the depth that they have here. No, and Jalen Coker at the end of last year started kicking it into gear a little bit. He started having a little chemistry with Bryce Young, and a lot of things started happening. Obviously, they were out of the playoffs and everything, so it's a little bit easier to play. But when you start gaining that chemistry, you try to carry that on to the next season.
Yeah, absolutely.
As far as that goes, they didn't really, the battles for having people in here. Uh, those are the big ones that I was looking at.
Yeah, I think the small one that I want to touch on, it
Mm-hmm.
may be more important to like fantasy owners or whatnot, is the handcuff to Chuba Hubbard.
Okay.
So is it going to be Rico Dowdle, who came over from Dallas, who had a career year last year, or Trevor Etienne, the 4th round pick, uh, Travis Etienne's brother? So that could be interesting to see how that shakes out.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Carolina, they want to run the ball, they want to take some pressure off Bryce Young, so they want to be able to kind of open the things up in the passing game by leaning on this run game. And Chuba Hubbard's a stud, and he's greatly outplayed his draft position as a 4th round pick in the 2021 draft. But having one of these potential handcuffs just due to injuries, running backs get hurt all the time. It'd be interesting to see who actually takes advantage of that running back 2 role there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Chuba is pretty much solidified himself. I mean, year after year, he's just kind of delivered. I mean, you know what I mean. And then he finally got paid, which is great. But you can't do it forever, right? And that's why you get
Yeah.
backups. That's why you get, So, yeah, I mean, on the other hand, I do want to see what they can do with this defense as well. They did get a lot of new young studs here with the linebacker group and the safeties and the nose tackle, and they signed a bunch of guys too. So they got Bobby Brown, they got Tershawn Wharton from Kansas City, they have Patrick Jones II from Minnesota, and Christian Roseboom from the Rams. Or all these guys are just kind of, I think they're just kind of sitting in here, and they're not just body people. They're going to be there. They're going to be playing until these other guys understand the system. You know what I mean? This new system under Ejiro Evero. So, and I think it's important just to understand that they are trying to make an attempt here to get this defense upgraded. At the same time, they don't want to rush these other players in because that can really cost them some games. I think they want to let their veterans come in, do what they have to do. So I don't see too many, in my opinion, I don't see too many camp battles that are really going to happen. Maybe in that safety spot, but I don't see anything on that line or that the linebacker spot. I think they might be in some packages though.
I'll play devil's advocate here. I
Sure.
think one thing with that defense, as we talked
Mhm.
about earlier, it's a historically bad defense. So you want some young blood in there. You want some guys to go in there, fly around, create some havoc, and create plays. So I think they really put an emphasis on adding some speed and some pass rushing ability in there. So you have the third round pick, Princey Umamalin from I believe Ole Miss, and then you had Nick Scorton from Texas A&M. So two
Mhm.
guys that are really athletic pass rushers. You combine them with Patrick Jones second, who you signed from Minnesota, and DJ Wanham, who's been there, I believe, also from Minnesota.
Yeah.
But that's a pretty good rotation there. So I don't know
Mhm.
how strong of a hold that those two guys have on the starting jobs. I think these two rookies can come in and be impactful from day one.
Yeah.
And then another guy that I kind of just want to highlight, he's kind of buried on the depth chart,
Yeah.
but he was a really solid player uh, that I got to see a lot, working a lot of the SMU games last year. Jared Harrison Hunt, he's a defensive end for them, at that right defensive end spot. But he is 6'3", 294. So he plays with a lot of power. That could be a guy that if he is able to make this 53-man roster and kind of play some snaps on the defensive line, he can make an impact as well. So it's a name to watch, and I keep an eye out as they're going through the preseason process.
Yeah. I do like the size of the kid from Florida, defensive tackle Cam Jackson. 6'6", 328 pounds. Now he's in a depth chart and everything, but he's going to gradually work his way up that depth chart. After Bobby Brown is gone, or Shy Tuttle from New Orleans is there. I mean he was there last year as well, but you know they have depth in that nose tackle area, and I think that's a big body right there.
Yeah.
Damn near 330, 6'6".
Yep.
So yeah,
But yeah,
I think they made some great moves. I really do.
yeah, I don't think there's too much more to talk about Carolina. I think they will be improved from years past,
Hmm.
but it's still kind of early on to see how they'll actually do
Yeah.
this year.
All right, man. Are you ready to upset some people?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how more upset Carolina can be. I mean, don't they have the least amount of wins over the last few seasons?
Well, we're gonna find out right now if they're gonna be doing the same.
All right. So for the Carolina Panthers 2025 NFL season, week 1, the Panthers are visiting the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think Liam Cohen's going to get that offense rocking and rolling in Jacksonville. So give me the Jaguars at home. Week 2, Panthers are visiting Arizona Cardinals and Kyler Murray and company. I think Carolina is not as good of a team. So give me Arizona. I'll start off 0-2 there. Week 3, you have the Panthers hosting the Falcons. NFC South division games are always kind of wonky. So go on and give me Carolina at home. Week 4, you have the Panthers visiting the New England Patriots. Both teams are kind of pretty bad. I think coaching is going to play a really big role in this. Go on and give me Mike Vrabel and the Patriots. I do think Canales is a great coach. Side note. Week 5, Panthers at Dolphins at Panthers. This one's kind of a tough one because I don't know how good of a team Miami's going to be. So go and give me Carolina at home. Week 6, you have the Cowboys visiting Carolina. This is always kind of one of those tricky matchups for the Cowboys, but I do think they have the superior talent. Going to give me the Cowboys on the road. Week 7, you have the Panthers visiting your New York Jets. I think Justin Fields and company are going to be a better team. I like a lot of what AG's doing. Going to give me the Jets at home. Week 8, uh, Buffalo Bills visiting the Carolina Panthers. This could be one of those games where the Bills look ahead, kind of overlook the Carolina Panthers, but going to still give me Josh Allen and company. I think they are the far superior team there. Week 9, Panthers are visiting the Green Bay Packers. Again, I think Packers could be a force in the NFC, so go on and give me the Packers at home. Week 10, you have the Saints visiting the Carolina Panthers. Both teams are not in a good position. I do think Carolina is in a better spot. So go on and give me Bryce Young and company at home. Week 11, you have the Panthers visiting the Falcons. I think they're going to split the series just because, again, these games are kind of get crazy. So go on and give me the Falcons at home. Week 12, You have the Panthers visiting the San Francisco 49ers. Again, I don't know the San Francisco health issues in terms of that receiver room, whatnot, but going to give me San Francisco at home. Week 13, LA Rams are visiting the Carolina Panthers. Like we talked about in the beginning of the show, I don't know how Stafford's health is going to be. So you could be Jimmy G playing at this point. I'm going to kind of throw an upset out there, going to give me Carolina at home. You have the bye week at week 14. Then in week 15, you have the Panthers visiting the Saints. Again, I just don't know what type of team the Saints are going to be. I like Kellen Moore and what he's done a lot with the team, but give me Carolina on the road. You have the Bucks visiting the Panthers. I think Tampa Bay is probably the favorite to win the division, so I'm going to give me Baker and the Bucks on the road. Seahawks are visiting the Carolina Panthers week 17. This is going to be another one of those weird games. You have Seattle coming all the way across the country to visit the Panthers. So going to give me the Carolina at home. I think they'll beat the Seahawks there. And then week 18, this could be one of those weird games. I don't know who's going to play, but going to give me Tampa Bay at home. I think they are going to give the Panthers their 11th loss, and they will finish 6-11. Carolina Panthers.
There it is, man. There it is.
Shouts out to the Carolina Panthers fans.
Shout outs to the Carolina Panthers fans going 6-11. One last shot at it.
Anything that sticks out? Anything that you want to roast me on?
No, I think you're staying true to what you think. I don't You said that you believe that when we did the Seahawks that the Seahawks were going to lose over there, and you stood by it. So it's
It's just one of those weird games. When the West Coast teams have to go to the East Coast, it just sometimes throws it all out of whack.
Yeah, no, it definitely does, man. It absolutely does, and it's the Panthers. They're not that far away from turning the franchise around. After this draft, they
and I like what Canales is doing, man. I think he's a good coach.
And I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but it is what it is. It's just because it's always going to be all the Panthers suck based upon how they've done the past few years, and it's like, all right, not every team's going to suck forever.
But I mean, Jets, Browns, But it does need to start translating to some wins. But I hopefully he has a longer leash than what previous coaches has had. So, but I think he's moving the team in the right direction. He's adding the right pieces to the team. So I think they will take a bigger leap and be more competitive in games. But obviously, the schedule prediction, I don't think they're quite there to make noise in the South yet.
I hear you on that.
Excuse me.
All right.
We have the Cincinnati Bengals next.
Yeah, let's move over to the Cincinnati Bengals. So
I'm sure
looking
there's a ton of camp battles here.
Huh?
I'm sure there's a ton of camp battles in Cincy.
I mean, not as many as you think. There's a couple, but I would say I'm going to start off with one here because it seems like if they didn't, like left guard Dylan Fairchild in the third round, they picked him up, so he could be going against Cordell Volson, who was drafted in 2022. But it kind of looks like they're really leaning towards Fairchild here on that offensive line. But then you also got Lucas Patrick, whom from New Orleans, coming to fit into the right guard spot. So they didn't do too many things except one or two spots of signing somebody and then drafting somebody right after them to fill, for that competition. They did do that in one or two spots later on where they got Samaje Perine in that running back spot. And they also have Taj Brooks there too. But I do think that if we're going to look at that for a second, I think Chase Brown is solidified in that spot. But I wouldn't sleep on Samaje Perine. The dude, when he was back on the Bengals 2 years ago, okay, he was averaging, I think it was like 5 yards a carry when he touched the ball. He didn't get the ball a lot. Or maybe it was after contact. I'm sorry. I think it was 5.2 or something like that after contact.
Mhm.
But he was very, very hard to take down and hard to catch. So that could be a crazy 1-2 punch. I don't want to say 1-2 punch because it is Chase Brown's game over there. More so it's a passing game. But if any can't battle for the number 2 spot, I would say it's more of a Samaje Perine and Taj Brooks kind of look over there to see what they want to do.
Well, I think with Zach Moss being released after the whole neck injury thing last year, I think that it does open up that running back 2 spot.
Yeah.
And I don't know if a lot of people remember this, but Samaje Perine actually still holds the college rushing record for most rushing yards in a game.
Does he?
Yeah, when he was at Oklahoma, I mean, he ran wild. It was crazy because somebody had broke the record the week before, and then the next week he broke that record. So, and he still holds it today. I think it was like something crazy, like 300 or 400 something rushing yards.
I'm gonna look it up. Yeah, but he's a strong guy. He's a little bit older, but he's strong. 427 yards. Oh my goodness.
Yep, in one game.
2014 against Kansas. Wow.
Yeah, go figure, right? So, got to give Samaje Perine. He's got that. He's got the record still. So, shout out to Perine. But
big guy,
yeah,
dude. 5'11", 240.
Yep.
That's a. I didn't realize he was 240 pounds.
He's a hoss, man. He's a hoss. He's got 30 pounds on Chase Brown. Yeah.
Dude, he's got 10 pounds on Braylon Allen.
Yeah, that's how it goes. But
oh my god.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's one that I'm looking at. So far.
The guard spots and the running back 2 spot.
I mean, the guards, I think they're just kind of solidified, but the running back, I am looking at that because if Chase Brown does go down, you want to know who's going to be carrying this.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. If your guy Andre Yashevich can't hold on to that slot receiver role this year, because I mean Jermaine Burton was kind of a knucklehead last year and got some trouble, but they've been raving about him in camp this year. But I mean, everybody gets raved about this time of year during camp. So
I'll tell you what, his Andre Iosivas or Iosevich, however you say it, they said he was targeted. I forget what the number was, but a ton in the red zone. A ton in the red zone. They always looked his way when they were down in the 10.
Are you talking about last year or in training camp?
The past 2 years.
Oh yeah, I mean he had what 7 touchdowns last year.
Yeah, I mean, barely any yards, right? But I mean, that's the touchdown area. That they're always looking his way. I mean, he's a big dude. I'm always gonna have love for that dude. You know that. That was one of my very first guys scouting in at Princeton. 6'3", 210, decent size. Always gonna have love for that dude. So,
absolutely, I just wanted to highlight that just because obviously Jamar Chase and T Higgins get all the love, but that third receiver spot, it can be valuable. Whoever takes that role.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think this defense, that's got to be the main focus on all these training camp battles, right? They've added a lot of new bloods in terms of draft picks, a lot of signings, and their defense was not great last year. They got rid of their defensive coordinator, brought in Al Golden, who came over from Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you had Shamar Stewart, who finally got his contract situation figured out and signed.
Yeah.
So you also bring in Demetrius Knight Jr., that weak side linebacker spot. You draft Barrett Carter in the 4th round of the middle linebacker spot. You sign T.J. Slayton Jr. from Green Bay. You sign McKelvin Agim. You sign Taven Bryan from Indianapolis. Oren Burks from Philadelphia. Joe Giles Harris from Jacksonville. I mean, you're really bringing in a bunch of different type of players just to kind of shake up the defense, add some new life, new blood, because you got to be able to give Joe Burrow and company some help. One, you got to protect him, so they made some changes on the offensive line, but you got to be able to help the guy out and keep the teams from scoring 40 at least. Can you keep it to 20? Can you keep it to 25?
Yeah,
because the offense go out there and perform, put up 30 plus. You just have to be at least somewhat serviceable. Just be middle of the pack, and I think the Bengals will get back to form, go back to the playoffs right there. But this defense needs some help.
Yeah, yeah, and they need to get Trey Hendrickson his money. Just throwing that
Yeah,
out there.
so I mean that he needs to get paid because if you don't have him out there, you have Miles Murphy, who they took in the first round a couple of years ago. He'd be your starting right defensive end at this point. Do you really trust Miles Murphy right
Hell,
now?
no, no, you're definitely not gonna. You already had expectations for him, and it didn't pan out.
Yeah. Now, granted, it's only been what 2 seasons,
Mm-hmm.
so a lot of the development, and a lot of things happen in the third year for a lot of different positions. But I would be uncomfortable with not having Hendrickson in my starting lineup to start the season if I was the Cincinnati Bengals.
I am very interested to see. I think I'm going to go back to the offense for a second.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see if Noah Fant climbs the depth chart here.
Do you think he might get that over Gasecki?
Maybe not Gasecki, but Drew Sample. I think so. Yeah.
Drew Sample's kind of like their blocking tight end and guy that he can be decent in the passing game, but he's more of a bigger body blocker.
Yeah, Mike Gesicki is a very, very good tight end. I think he's a great. Yeah, I think he's a good tight end. He was utilized great last year. But I think this is one of those times that they could use Drew Sample for that blocking area, and they could use the double tight end running on two different ends. You know what I mean? You really want to sell it. You want to have that. You want to have that. Those three tight ends in. Maybe some every now and a blue moon make it look like it's going to be a run,
Yeah,
and it's
maybe you
not.
run some 2-2 personnel, have
Yeah,
Sample as a fullback and Gasecki and Fant at the tight end spots.
dude.
It could kind of open up their red zone.
Yeah,
We don't
absolutely.
have to
You
focus
don't.
just on Yoshevich and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, like who are you going to guard? You already got your best. It doesn't matter who your best is. He's not going to cover Jamar Chase. You know what I mean? You got T Higgins being covered by your CB2, and then your linebackers are going to have to choose, and your safety is going to have to choose where they're going to go. They're going to double team Jamar. You're going to pick up this tight end. You're going to pick up this other tight end. You're going to open up the middle with Ayusevich, or Jermaine Burton, like you're saying. You know what I mean? They have a lot of weapons over there.
Yeah, I get the reason behind Noah Fant wanting to sign in Cincinnati, because he
Yeah,
visited a couple teams, New Orleans being one of them.
yeah,
And if I'd much rather catch passes from Joe Burrow than either of the Saints quarterbacks, no offense to the
fair.
Saints quarterbacks,
Yeah,
but I think he had a clear path to playing time if he did sign in New Orleans
mm-hmm.
with just his competitions, Jawan Johnson and a couple other guys, because you have Taysom and Foster Moreau nursing injuries right there, right?
Yeah,
But it is curious to see like him being that third option, especially with the top two tight ends kind of being cemented in those roles. So yeah, it would be interesting to see how quickly he can acclimate to that offense
yeah.
and get on the field. So good point.
I'm excited to see when they not release, but unleash Barrett Carter here. I know he's a fourth round pick, but you know me, I've been raving about this kid from Clemson, the linebacker, 6 foot 231, Barrett Carter for a while, and I just think he's a good linebacker. I really do, and I want to see adding him to the mix over there, and obviously he's behind Logan Wilson, which is fine, but
Logan Wilson's a stud, man.
he
He's
is.
played really well.
I want to
So
see if they're going to be able to get Barrett Carter in the mix some way somehow. If it's doable, if it's what I mean, if they come up with some packages, but I think it's really good depth. I think it was a great draft pick for them to have behind Wilson.
yeah, for sure. Because I don't know how many more years Wilson has on his contract, so it could be one of those succession plans. But whenever they go into three linebacker sets, you probably have Knight Jr., Barrett, and Logan Wilson out there. So
Yeah. Um, shall we go to? Dare I say? the schedule. Unless you got anything else you want to.
No, I think I really like this secondary. I think they've got a lot of talent back there.
Mm-hmm.
You got the second round pick, DJ Turner the second. You have a third round pick in 2023 from Jordan Battle at strong safety. You bring in Geno Stone. I think he's been there for a couple seasons now. You have Cam Taylor Britt that you took in the second round in 2022 with that right cornerback spot.
Yeah.
Then you have Dax Hill, who was your first rounder in 2022, who's kind of played that safety and nickel role. So I think there's a lot of speed and a lot of talent in the secondary. So I'm excited to see how Al Golden kind of deploys them this year.
Yeah, it seems like they've all kind of had that camaraderie for a while now, for a little bit, a couple of years. So they kind of, but something's got to change. If you look at everything that they've added, everything it wasn't so much in the back end. Everything was really in the middle or up front, and that kind of goes for a lot of it. You're talking running back, you're talking offensive line, and then you're also talking defensive line and linebackers. You know what I mean? They really concentrated on that middle part of both sides. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. I feel like I had to give some love to the secondary because I like a lot of what they have in terms of talent back there.
and you would figure that if they didn't think that it was so bad, you know what I mean, that they probably would have drafted somebody in that secondary, a cornerback, a safety, if they didn't trust who they have on the roster right now.
Yeah, I'm excited to catch some Bengals preseason games because I want to see how Josh Newton, their fifth rounder in 2024, he was a TCU corner. I
Yeah.
spotted a couple seasons ago. He's a pretty good man cover corner. So I want to kind of see how he does in the preseason action. I think he'd be another name to could add that rotation in the secondary there. So
Okay. All right. All right, let's hit it up. Let's
yeah,
see what the schedule's looking like here.
17-0 incoming. I can already see it. I can see it in your eyes.
Not me, sir. All right. Don't mess any of this up here. All right. Let's start off week 1, Bengals going to Cleveland. I'm just gonna say people are gonna think I'm a little crazy, a little wild. They're gonna make it out by the skin of their teeth here, but they're gonna take the W. Okay, the Bengals are gonna win over the Browns. Week 2, they're gonna host the Jaguars in Cincinnati, and I believe that this is where it gets a little tricky. They're gonna win this one too at home. Okay, week 3, they're gonna be going to Minnesota. All right, they are going to be going to Minnesota. Bengals are going to be losing in Minnesota here, okay? Joe Burrow has a sense sometimes where it takes him a little bit to get going. And these 2 first games, I think they're going to squeak out. This third game here, they're going to lose to the Minnesota Vikings. Week 4, they're going to go to Denver. It's going to be, I'm going to call it right now, it's going to be a shootout. Denver is going to leave, or Cincinnati is going to leave with a loss, okay? So I'm going to take Denver again. I'm going to take Denver. So week 5, Lions and the Bengals. Okay, the Lions are going over to Cincinnati. I think this is where they get a little bit of their mojo back. The Bengals are taking a win. Week 6, the Bengals are going to Green Bay. I believe that the Bengals are going to take a win on the road as well. Week 7, Steelers and the Bengals. The Steelers are going to be coming in, and the Bengals are going to be taking another win. Okay. Week 8, the Jets are going to Cincinnati. They're going to be taking another win at home here. That's 4 in a row. Okay. Week 9, Chicago Bears are coming to Cincinnati as well. This is where they take another win. This is going to be a 5-game winning streak before their bye. Okay. They're going to be coming back again. Okay. To the Steelers. Week 11, the Bengals. They're going to have a week to think about it. I think they're too hype. I think Steelers knock them off their horse. Okay. They're going to take an L there going into Pittsburgh. Week 12, I think the Bengals are going to be hosting the Patriots, and they are going to come right back, and they're going to take the W. All right. This is where it gets interesting. Week 13, the Bengals are going to the Ravens. This is where they take a loss. The Ravens are just a little bit too much for them. Sorry. And the Ravens are going to take their home win. The Buffalo Bills, this is going to be a shootout. Okay, I don't know which way to go with this, but right now, if I'm looking at it, I'm just going to say that since it's in Buffalo, I'm going to go with Buffalo. All right, it's Bengals are going to take a loss. Ravens come into Cincinnati. Okay, and this time the Bengals don't let them go without a loss. So the Bengals are going to take a win at home. The Bengals are also going to travel to Miami in Week 16 and take a win in Miami. Week 17, the Arizona Cardinals are coming to a cold place in Week 17 after coming from a dome. Bengals are going to take that win. And then Week 18, the Browns against the Bengals. The Bengals are going to be very warmed up. They're going to be looking for that 1 seed. They're going to be taking it. It's going to be a 12-5 record for the Bengals in 2025.
There we go. I think that's the highest record we've had so far.
I think so too. What do you? I mean, you can ridicule some stuff here. I wasn't even, to be honest with you. I was looking at that Jaguars game too. Like, there's a possibility that Joe Burrow is not. It takes a little bit for them to get rocking and rolling sometimes.
Well, I think one thing, I think the team knows that as well. So you saw that head coach, Coach Taylor said they were going to be playing in the preseason this year.
Okay.
So they're going to be taking some snaps and some series. So I think they're very well aware of that. I think because I think you did have the Jaguars beating them in week 2 on your Jaguars one.
Yeah, it's that fluky kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's just what they add, what they don't add, and all this other stuff. So it's a 12-5. Some of the games aren't always going to match up, but I mean, it's again, with this division, I think any win can send a first place person to the third place spot at the end of the season.
Yeah, I mean, even you saw last year that the Browns were even competitive down the stretch.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where it's it's a tough division to gauge.
Oh yeah.
And I'm sure I'm going to hear some stuff from it. As we do best, my friend. We like to piss.
That's what we live for. It's fun to have these football discussions. Everyone's got an opinion, and it's a long season. So, and we haven't even gotten to really the true start of preseason yet. We just have one game under our belt, and many more starts tomorrow.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, and very, very much so. And I'm excited for it, man. I know you are too. So it's only what, 1 day away from when we get a couple
3
things
more games.
moving.
You get some games. You got some games Thursday, Friday, bunch on Saturday, and a couple on Sunday. It's here, baby.
It is here. And speaking of here, we are here for your football needs. So make sure that you guys hit subscribe, hit the like button, comment, let us know what you guys think. Follow us at Top Dog Coverage on YouTube, on X, Twitter, the real thing, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. And you know what? Hit us up. Let us know exactly what it is that you guys think at topdogcoverage@gmail.com. So topdog, TOPDAWG at gmail.com.
And shout out to Celsius keeping Dirty wired.
Yeah, it is. It's always keeping me wired. You know what? I'm gonna let this music rock for a second because we like it because it's the FGM label. But what do you think about this? Before we leave, we did get an email, and we didn't go over the email bag. So, what do you think about this? If you had a keeper, you had to pick one of these as a keeper. No round, okay? You just get to keep them, and one backup, okay? This is what we're looking at. You have your choice between. It's a PPR league, so take that into consideration, okay? We need to know all this stuff. When you guys send this stuff in, we need to know, is it a PPR league? How many men are in it? 10, 12, all this stuff. So this is a 10.
Or women. Men or women.
This is actually from a woman. So shout outs to Billy, okay, for sending in. And so this is a PPR league. So she can either keep. Let's see what we got here. Lamar Jackson, James Cook, AJ Brown, Derrick Henry, and you get to keep one as a backup in case somebody goes down. And she's got the 4th pick in the first round.
Off the bat, I would probably pick Lamar Jackson just so I can have my quarterback set.
Yeah.
And he can rush for a lot of touchdowns. He threw for a ton of yards, ton of touchdowns last year. So I think he has as good a chance as any of them to finish as QB1, right? Yeah. My second one, my backup, I'm debating between either Derrick Henry or A.J. Brown. Since you have the 4th pick, you could get either a receiver or running back, whichever direction that you don't go.
Yeah.
But I guess give me Derrick Henry at that second backup spot.
Okay. Yeah. Let us know what you guys think. 10 team PPR. You get a keeper. Lamar Jackson, AJ Brown, Derrick Henry. Who did I say? Oh, there you go. DJ Moore. So DJ Moore, Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson, right? AJ Brown, sorry. You guys let us know what you guys think. 4th round pick. I would say Derrick Henry. That way you have a 1st round running back. If you want to double up, you can. If not, you can pick a CD Lamb going right into that 4th pick if you want. If he's not gone, if Jamar Chase falls to you, you got a double and a double. And you can always go back and pick a Lamar Jackson if you want, depending on how they draft. So, but, you say potato, I say potato, my friend.
Yeah. There's no right way to do it. There's no wrong way to do it. Everyone's got their flavor for fantasy, so.
Yeah. So, we thank you guys. We love you guys. Keep it real. Let us know what you guys want to hear next. TopDogCoverage@gmail.com. We'll see you later. Peace.
Peace.